Okay, I think we are live.
Great.
So here we go. Welcome. If you are watching this, that means that you have been interested on some level in having more influence in your conversations. And I am here today with my friend Andrea, and we are going to teach you a magic phrase that will do exactly that. It will give you more influence in the conversations that you're looking to create outcomes from. My name is Nicole Kramer. I'm an Exactly What to Say certified guide. I am also the owner of TNC Speaking and Coaching. And I love the work of Exactly What to Say. And I love teaching it to people because I know how much it uplevels your communication and how much it allows you to help more people because you know exactly what to say to help them make decisions. And I speak from stages, just like my friend Andrea here does, about this work. And we are excited to bring to you today some magic phrases that are going to uplevel your communication. Andrea?
Thank you, Nicole. My name is Andrea Daniels. I am also a certified guide for Exactly What to Say and the owner of a company called Rookie to Rainmaker, which we talk about lead generation and lead conversion. I also speak on stages like Miss Nicole. What I'm excited about for this work is that it is relationship-based sales, and you are showing up as a consultant and an advocate to help someone make a decision. So it doesn't feel cringy. If something is not authentic, you can see it a mile away from my face. I'm not a good liar or a good BSer. So what I love about the material is it's a framework that helps you approach any and all conversations, sales and personal and professional conversations, not just sales conversations, to help you serve the other person in front of you. So that's what I love about the material. I'm excited to talk about some of the material today with Miss Kramer. I like to call her Professor Kramer because she used to be a math teacher. Um, and Nicole, what is on deck for today? Which phrase will we be talking about?
Well, I just realized that there's actually two types of people, Andrea, and maybe we should make sure we're talking to both. There's those who have heard of this little book called Exactly What to Say, and there's those who've never heard of it. So you might be watching, like you might be in our Facebook group watching right now, and maybe you've heard us talk about it in here. Maybe somebody sent this video to you because they said, hey, this might be good for you, and you've never heard of this. So, this little book that Andrea is referring to and the work that she's referring to is all the work of Exactly What to Say by a man named Phil Jones. The reason that it really resonated with Andrea and I is, like she said, we both teach sales, we both help people make more conversions in their day to day conversations. And that's what we all want. We want to be doing it without being pushy and without being salesy. And these tools give you the ability to
Mhm.
do that. So, the work that we're going to teach you from today is basically how to have more influence in your conversations. And we're never, Andrea said this a second ago, and I just want to point out we're never doing this to people. We're always doing it for people because everybody wants more clarity. They want to be able to make decisions more efficiently. Nobody wants to be stuck in indecision. They actually don't. None of us
No.
do. Right. So when we as professionals, regardless of what industry you're in, when we show up with the tools to help people make decisions, everybody wins. So the magic phrases in this book, Exactly What to Say, that's what it's full of. It's full of all kinds of magic phrases. We've got a little book that you can buy. There's a workbook because we take people through experiences where we teach them this language, the entire methodology, and you can use it anywhere. Andrea, what are some of your experiences of where you've used Exactly What to Say, not just in business conversations?
I've used it with my husband. Um, Oftentimes with the people closest to us, we use lazy language because
Mhm.
we're already in relationship with them. Like when we tell them to do Pilates and not CrossFit. And we forgo that curiosity gap that we would have with strangers. We ask less questions, we make more assumptions because we're already in relationship with them. So I've used it with my parents and my husband to take a step back and be a little more curious instead of, oh, I have the right, I own this relationship, they're just going to listen to me because I have the solution to their problem. It is more, where could I be more curious? Maybe they weren't intentional if they hurt my feelings. Maybe they just said something out of haste. Maybe they had a bad day at work. So, really taking the time to step back in curiosity and understand how I'm approaching my personal conversations really made a big difference in my life. And actually, even Nicole, with our friendship in the last year, I feel like those conversations were some I wouldn't have been able to even have had I
Mhm.
not had this work and having really good conversations with you. Business
Yeah,
conversations.
agreed. I think if anybody knew Andrea and I, what, 2.5 years ago when we first met, and you saw us now, like our entire relationship has certainly been affected positively by this. I think both of us do a really good job of staying curious longer, even though we've had examples where we don't. But to your point, when you're using lazy language because you're around people that you're so used to being around, we end up costing ourselves. We cost ourselves an opportunity to go a little bit further with what we really wanted, or to help that person a little bit more. And, you know, the story that Andrea brought up a second ago, there was a time about 1.5 years ago, and she and I were talking about working out, which, by the way, Andrea is doing an incredible job right now. Come on, give us that flex. Give us that flex.
I'm 13 pounds.
I'm not there yet, so I've got a long sleeve shirt on yet, or long sleeve shirt on. But we were talking initially about, like, you know, getting back into shape. And Andrea said, I think I'm going to go back to CrossFit. And I was like, oh, you need to go to Pilates. You don't need to go to CrossFit. I jumped right into advice monster mode. I jumped right into telling her what I thought she should do. And that's where so many of us, I'm going to say, go wrong, even though I don't want to like make people feel like they're doing it wrong or doing it bad, but like, that's where so many of us go wrong. We are approaching it in a way that doesn't actually give us the outcome that we want. It creates friction. So when I said, oh, you don't need to go to CrossFit, you need to go to Pilates, she doubled down. Why wouldn't she? I put her in a position where she's like, what I basically said when I was like, you don't need to go to CrossFit, you need to go to Pilates, AKA, you're wrong. You don't know what's best for you. I know what's best for you. You should listen to me. Well, come on. We were all 5 years old at one point in our life and said, you're not the boss of me. We've all said that, right? And we still feel it. Even though we're adults now, we still feel that. And that's what people feel from you. They feel that friction if you're trying to tell them what to do, or you're being an advice monster.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I love about this work, is it allows you, gives you the tools to express yourself so that you're getting the outcomes that you want. You're helping the person feel like it's their idea, instead of, I know what's best for you, you listen to me. And that just doesn't build trust.
And something that Nicole says often is, we all want to know what to do as adults. We want to know what to do. We want to know the best path to get there. We just don't want to be told what to do. So when Nicole says we have to make them think it's their idea, we are asking them questions to help them self-discover what's important to them. And then we make a recommendation based on what they shared was important to them.
Yep. And I think one of the most powerful ways we have to do that is by knowing what to say, knowing what phrases can help us get somebody to clarity. And the one we're going to teach you today is, there's 2 types of people. And what we're also going to do is give you a little challenge, because the last thing that we want you to do is to watch this video, to spend this time with us, and then to not do jack squat about it, because that's not going to do you any good. The information is not going to do you any good. If we were to bring it back to working out, the analogy I'll give you is, you already know how to get a 6-pack.
Just no one's doing it.
Are you doing what it takes? None of us are oblivious. Just turn on YouTube. It's free. You can watch videos on how to get a 6-pack, but if you're not taking action on it, it's not giving you the results. So the last thing we want you to do is watch what we're saying here and then not go take action. So we have a challenge for you to take, and it's really simple. We want you to start applying what we're going to share with you right now, which is the phrase 2 types of people. The other good thing that you're going to hear today is there are opportunities for you to get some additional practice. So if you like everything we've been sharing so far, if you like what we're talking about, and you know that knowing all of these magic phrases would make a huge difference in your world, the good news is we've got 2 ways for you to step a little bit further into this work. One of them is we've got a complimentary role play session next Tuesday. And the other one is in August, we have a coaching program starting on exactly what to say. We do this twice a year. We take groups of people through it, and we teach you everything under the sun about exactly what to say, so that you are walking out with the language of influence and you are able to do it fluently. That's really what it's all about. Yeah. So those 2 opportunities we will be talking about today. Why do I never get balloons when I try to get balloons?
I don't know. How about thumbs up? Nope, nothing.
No thumbs up either. But we will be sharing a little bit with you in just a few minutes about those 2 opportunities. The role play is complimentary. The coaching program has a early bird preferred pricing right now. So more about that to come. Let's jump into the phrase 2 types of people. As we said, helping people make decisions, helping get them to clarity. this is really important. Not just that, but when we're able to help somebody make a decision, they're going to trust us more. They're going to feel like, wow, that person was able to help me clear my mind and get to the point and get to the thing that I really wanted. So one of the ways we do that is with a phrase called two types of people. It's what we call an assumptive frame. Andrea, I'm not sure what you want to share about assumptive frames. Just so you all know, we've got an entire workbook. Andrea's holding hers. Here's mine, full of magic phrases, and they're all categorized into different ways. So like the first group is rejection-free openers. The second group is perspective changers. These are all ways to move yourself through a conversation and create the outcomes that you want to create. And the assumptive frames contain the phrase, two types of people. Here's why it's really an amazing phrase. It helps you right away categorize who that person is, because they're going to tell you. Not only that, but when you say there's two types of people, they're like, which one am I? Which one am I? Tell me which one am I? And it right away helps us put them in either this bucket or this bucket. And when you get really good at using it, what you want to do is say there's two types of people, this type, which is what they want, and this type, which is what they don't want. Or actually, I would probably switch the order of those. But that's really the magic of this phrase, is giving two different choices. Hey, there's two types of people. Just like we asked you when we started this, we said there's two types of people. There's those who have heard of exactly what to say, and there's those who haven't. Notice how everybody in the world falls into one of those two categories.
Yep.
Everybody in the world, right?
And I'm going to get a little spicy, a little Philadelphia here for a second. There's two types of people. People who are okay winging it and showing up like a level 6 or 7 and hoping they get the deal done. And then those who are open-minded to trying something new and different so they can win with more people more of the time.
Mm-hmm. There you go. Because nothing works on everybody all of the time. And nothing works on all of the people all of the time. But all of this work, again, is not to do it to people. It's to do it for people. It's to help the people who are looking for help and get them to clarity so that they are able to make a decision. And when you use an assumptive frame, this phrase is an example of an assumptive frame, you are safely making an assumption to help that person move into a place of clarity so that they are moving and making progress, not just staying where they are. That's what you want to do in all of your conversations. You want to make a little bit of movement, move the needle, move the needle, move the needle, move the needle, little bit, little bit, little bit. Trust is not earned overnight, it's earned over time. And so when you show up equipped for handling these conversations, then you are moving the needle every single time, because as my dear friend Andrea likes to say, you got to stop trying to get married on the first date.
Now, there are 32 phrases, and this is just one out of 32. This is one of the phrases that accelerates the decision-making. Sometimes Nicole and I are teaching to slow down the decision-making. Sometimes we're talking about when it's time to accelerate the decision-making. Yep. I'm not saying not to spend the much needed time with people when you are doing the discovery and helping them make a decision. This will have them in their mind subconsciously make a decision which category they're in. One of my other favorite examples is there's two types of people. People who download the free PDF, never read it, never execute it, sits in their downloads on their Mac or their PC. And then those who download it and execute it immediately, which is probably out of 100% of people, maybe 5.
Yep.
Right. So this is when you use those two types of people subconsciously in their head without us doing anything, they are going to categorize which one they are.
Yep.
And something that Phil says, which is one of my favorite phrases, is as sales professionals, or if we are leaders, or if we are in a consultative role, if we're no matter what type of role we are, personally or professionally, we are helping someone make a decision. And he calls it, we are professional mind maker upper. So in order to show up and help someone else make a decision, we are leading the dance with questions, but we are not tied to the agenda, which is something else that Nicole and I teach. So if I say there's two types of people and they put themselves in the category that maybe I don't want to work with, I can't get upset. I'm like, okay, they might not be my people. They might self-select out, and then it'll save you time. Or you're like, okay, that's my type of person. This person's open-minded to maybe doing some work with us or moving forward in the conversation. So I don't want you to think that if they're not the type of person that you prefer, that you're like, oh, it's over, the deal's done. You saved yourself some time and energy. Nicole, have you ever had any nightmare clients?
Yeah. And I've actually had people where I've said, you know what, I don't think that this is the best fit for what you need right now. Would it help if I made some recommendations of what I think would be a good starting point for you? because sometimes people just aren't in the right position where it's going to benefit them to work with us, or it's the right person for us to want to work with. And so, yeah, I mean, Andrea makes great points. Like, we are not always looking to close a deal.
We're not always looking
We want to help somebody make a decision to work with us if it's the right fit. And our job is to know how to position it as the right fit if it really is, and then help them make that decision. And not being attached to the outcome is one of the most important things you can do in all of this work, because it's not up to you. It's up to you to help that person make the decision that's best for them. So yeah, I think I've had nightmare clients. I've had to say no to people that this isn't the right opportunity. And the benefit is, like Andrea said, when we use there's two types of people, you are automatically, because here's the thing. Please do not try to just use this on the fly. This is not in the moment, you're trying to make some shit up to get that person to go a certain way or make a certain decision. You've got to have this pre-planned. And I'm not saying scripted, because I think scripts are this misconception that you'll know perfectly what to say like a robot, and that person will just, okay, right? Like, we're not all humans with our own free will. But what I am saying is, think ahead to your important conversations. And what are two categories that you might find somebody in that you want them to help self-identify where they belong? For example, there's a lot of people who I know that I talk to that are interested in coaching, and some of them want to think about things for a very long time. Some of them want to not take action. Some of them are just like, hey, I'm ready. Once I've made a decision, I know I'm balls to the wall. I'm all in. I'm going to invest. And so I might say that, or I might say, there's two types of people. There's those that get a good idea and want to think it through and really take their time before they take action on it. And then there's those who know that once they made a decision that they want to do it, they're all in, they're going to make it happen. I'm curious, which one of those are you? And I just want to know at the beginning of a conversation that I'm going to have with somebody, I don't know, maybe they are the kind of person that likes to be slow and take a long time to make decisions. That's fine. But I'm also going to, and it was asked to me similar to this by somebody I was on a sales call with. She said, she didn't say there's two types of people, but she more or less said, there's two types of people. There's those who like to stay in their comfort zone, and there's those who will do anything to make their dreams come true. Which one are you? Right. Shot to the heart. I was like, I'm not going to choose my comfort zone. And so sometimes we need to light a fire under somebody's ass with how we're asking the question, because we're not pushing them or pressuring them from a place of a lack of integrity. We've heard in their voice and in their desire that they want to do something. So it's up to us to put, what's it called? A stake in the ground, and say, hey, I've heard that you really want to do this. Do you want me to support you, or do you want me not to? Right? There's two types of people. There's those who want encouragement to make the decision that they really want to make. And there's those who would rather miss out, even when, because it feels scary. Now, some of these are more like high pressure things that I'm suggesting right now, but I'm just giving you examples of like where you can categorize into two different places and allow that person to choose. Sorry, Andrea, go ahead.
Of course. I want to give a little more context. Depending on which answer they give you, it allows you to set yourself up for a proper next step.
Mm-hmm.
So if they say there's someone who needs to think about it, I know my next step will be, okay, out of curiosity, how long would you like to think about it? And then my next step is going to be on the next time. If someone's like, no, I'm ready to take action now, I'd be like, great. The good news is here's the next steps. I'll take your credit card information, whatever that next step is in your business. It allows you as an advocate, consultant, sales professional to set up the next step once they self-identify.
Mm-hmm.
That way it's more of a confident, Nicole and I like to say, a confident close for whatever the next step is. It's either I'm slowing down, I'm giving this person time, and I'm going to call them on Friday, or I'm going to accelerate, we're ready to go forward. So it gives you a little more room for confidence and permission or what that permissible next step is in that conversation. So Nicole and I will teach the whole entire framework in the certification and the role play. You'll see some of it pop out. This is, like I said, this is just one piece of 32 phrases. But the bigger picture is a lot of times people don't ask in conversations because they're not sure where their footing is. And this is one of the phrases that allows you to see where your footing is clearly, because they're going to self-identify. And then you can have the courage to take action for the next step, which is whatever the recommendation is based on what their answer is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. One of the ways that I've used it, just as an example, because that's a great frame for them to see that, like, hey, this is about understanding where to go next based on what they've shared. Because again, what Andrea and I keep saying is you're looking to guide people through and make it feel like it's their decision, because it is. But when we know how to expertly ask the questions it's like choose your own adventure. But when we get really good at designing the questions ahead of time, we can know how to steer them towards the adventure that they really want, even though they're scared. But from a very simple place, like a lot of times, again, we both speak from stages. And so we have a lot of calls with event planners and people who are looking to put together events. And one of the questions I'll ask is, are you looking for behavioral change? Or are you looking for like a quick dose of motivation? And it helps me make recommendations that are different based on what they're looking for. I would say the same thing to like a sales manager who hires me to come in and train their teams. Are you looking for, you know, some quick motivation and something to kind of light a fire under their butts? Are you looking more for long-term behavioral change? Because if you're just looking for something to light a fire under their butts, that's fine. I can come in and deliver a 2 or 3 hour impactful workshop. If you're looking for behavioral change, my recommendation is going to be a little bit different because behavioral change happens over time, right? Like if somebody came to me and they were looking for a workout. Okay, are you looking for a good, sweaty, tough workout? Or are you actually looking for a program that you can follow over time? Because I might design a different workout. I'm not a personal trainer, but I might design a different workout depending on what they're looking for. Same thing as, you know, how I approach what people are looking for from me. Help me understand first. There's 2 types of people. There's those who want behavioral change over time and those who really are looking for like an impactful event. Which one is this for you? And then I'm able to make recommendations based on what they're looking for, but they chose, they said it. And I think that's the most important thing is that we understand when we're asking these questions and we're using things like assumptive frames, it's because we're allowing them to identify who they are. And here's the beauty of that. Nobody can argue with their own words.
They cannot.
So when you help them identify, you know, there's 2 types of people. There's those who are fast action takers and those who like to think about things for a little while. Which one are you? And go ahead. Sorry.
And a wise man once said, clear is clever. So when you're eliminating things, when you say there's 2 types of people and you're eliminating something that they do want or that they don't want, it helps them make a decision easier.
Yeah. I'm looking over to see if there's any other, because here's what we are going to challenge you all with. Like we said, you can't just sit here and listen to the information. It doesn't do you any good. What does good?
Professor Nicole coming out. Go ahead.
I know it's so, but I mean, it's true, right? Knowledge isn't power. If knowledge was power, we'd all have all the things that we want, and we don't. We have to apply that knowledge. So we've got a little challenge for you. And the challenge is to take what you've just heard us talking about and start using it. Because when you start playfully doing things and giving yourself small challenges, you'll show up and you'll do it differently. And here's the really cool thing is we learn when we're playing. You're more in your feminine energy, you're more open, you're more aware. And when you're playing, you're actually contributing to your retention and your understanding. And so that's one of the reasons why Andrea and I are going to share with you here in a moment that we have a role play coming up, because Andrea said this to me a little bit ago today. She said, what is it costing people to keep practicing? How did you say it? To keep practicing on your clients?
I said, what is the cost of practicing on your clients?
Yeah.
Like if you're not role playing, which most people don't do, you don't get your set. There's no second place in sales. You don't get a silver commission check. You get 0 commission check.
Right.
How much money did you lose in 2024, 2023 by not showing up at a higher level and asking better questions? I will step off the soapbox. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
That's it. That's exactly it though. How hard, here's the thing where it really gets me. How hard everybody works to get themselves into opportunities and conversations, and then they don't prepare to handle them successfully. So we've got role play coming up. It is next June, the 24th, next June. It is this June, next Tuesday, the 24th.
I don't know where I don't know what I'm doing next June, Nicole.
I don't know what I'm doing next June either, but the 24th of June, we are doing this. We'll have to put this in the comments of the Facebook.
Absolutely.
Yeah, let me put it in there now. And then we're going to give you your little challenge that we want you to use so that you are actually, I don't see where my comments are. I'll have to go in and put it in later, I guess. So here's the challenge. We're going to call it 2 types of people Tuesday. So tomorrow, Tuesday, the 17th, or whatever Tuesday you want to make it, or who cares? Make it Monday. 2 types of people Monday. I want you all day long in as many as opportunities as you can find a way to weave it in to use 2 types of people. Use it with your kids when you're getting them ready for, well, not school, summer camp in the morning. Use it with your husband when you're trying to figure out what dinner to make. Use it in your business conversations. Wherever you can weave it in, do it. And then we want to hear if you're up for the challenge. So type in the comments below if you're watching us on the Facebook Live that you are, yes, going to take the 2 types of people challenge. And if you're not watching us live on the Facebook group, that's okay. We want to hear from you. So send us a message either at the Nicole Kramer on Instagram or at Andrea's A Force on Instagram. And tell us about your 2 types of people Tuesday.
Yeah, we would love to know.
The what?
I said, yeah, we would love to know.
We want to hear about your successes, your wins. And then as promised, we are going to put in 2 links. One of them is to sign up for the complimentary role play that we have next Tuesday, June the 24th. And the other one is for our Exactly What to Say certification. We've got limited spots and an early bird price right now. So do not delay on this. Do not wait. We don't want you to run out of getting the spot if you're looking to join. Also, there was one other thing I was going to say about, if you're not watching this on Facebook Live, you won't be able to get it in the comments. So whoever sent you this video, just respond to us and we will make sure that we get you the links for both of those programs. Role play before real play. So we look forward to seeing all of you on the 24th. Andrea, any final thoughts?
I look forward to seeing who's going to take you up on the challenge.
Me too. There's 2 types of people. There's those who jump right in. And there's those who overthink it and don't ever take action because they've got a to-do list a mile long and they think all those other things need to be done before they can actually just give themselves the opportunity to play.
Are you talking about people in my life?
What's that?
Are you talking about people in my life?
I'm talking about myself, actually. I'm just kidding.
The good news is Nicole and I make such a great partnership because I'm someone who just executes and doesn't think that much, and Nicole's our thinker. Yeah. I'm like, I don't know. Let's see what works. So we're good.
It's funny because I'm not going to say the word just in case we might be offending people who are watching it, but the F around and find out, that is my mentality in so many ways. But when I do work with Andrea, I feel like we need to I need to be that person that's like, hold up.
She's a responsible parent.
I play a different role, which is funny because you end up playing the role of me with James, but you end up playing the role of James with me.
Yes. Exactly. Mm-hmm.
And for those of you that don't know, James is her husband. And she says that all the time. She's like, I'm always James when I'm around you.
Yes. Yes.
Because I like to play in it. That's where Andrea. So when we're planning things, I'll be the overthinker. Like I'll take it slow. When we're together, bring on the fun.
The only reason I didn't take Nicole to Lithuania with me is I was afraid we were going to end up in another country's jail and I would have never made the presentation in time. That is the only reason Nicole did not come to Lithuania with me, is I was like, we're going to F around and find out, and I'm never going to make it to the presentations. And I'll be like, let's fly here. Let's take a train. Let's do this. And I would have never made the presentation. There's
a hot springs over here in Croatia. You want to pop over there for a day or 2? You'll be fine for your speech.
Yeah, it'll help relax you. There's bathing salts or something, or Epsom salt.
That would have been it.
Yeah. It's a good time. Nicole's your girl.
Well, this is what you can look forward to. Come spend 4 months with us. We start in August. If you want a little try before you buy, come to role play. Even if you're not planning on joining us in August, come to role play. You'll love it. You'll give yourself some practice. We have a lot of fun. That's why it's called role play. And you'll learn some things that are going to help make a big impact in how you show up to your conversations. So get the link. Let either of us know if you don't have it. And we'll see you soon. All right. Bye, everybody.